Hi everybody, I'm Gabriel. Welcome to my channel. This is Divya Stone's Crystal Casting Divination Readings. And this is your week ahead reading, or you could call it maybe an energy forecast for the week of August the 9th. I have a very unique custom-made divination board full of symbols that have specific meanings, 8 sections that are themes, as well as a tray of beautiful crystals here. And the way the readings work is we randomly choose some stones, we scatter them on the board, and then I'm combining the energy of the crystals with the meanings of the symbols where they land to become the messages. These are collective messages, and so each person tuning in and listening is going to interpret what I'm saying to apply to the areas of their life where it makes sense, where there's context, right? Some of the things that I say might not apply to you, but usually there's some meaning for each person in each message. So you can watch, I will give you a close-up of the board, or you can just pop in your headphones and go about your business and just listen to the messages that are coming through. So what we do is we ask Spirit directly, what is it that each person tuning in or listening needs to know this week for navigating the energies that are present, and in the collective, what do we need to be aware of as well? So that's our direct question for this reading. And I just want to mention that I do one-on-one private readings, parties, that sort of thing. Please check out the link in my bio. It'll take you to all of my different platforms where you can connect with me, follow me. I always appreciate the likes, the shares, the comments, and any way that you wish to support my work in the world. So would love to connect with you one-on-one as well. So I have asked the question, and I'm going to draw randomly 3 stones that we're going to work with, and grab the pairs from the tray. I do a random draw from the bag because I know the stones too well. So we have black obsidian, prehnite, and labradorite. Okay, I'm going to put these back, and then I'm just going to take these stones and put a little bit of our intention for our reading into them. And then I draw one that goes in the middle on the eye, and that's our guide stone. Now let's see what wants to show up here. Ah, lovely. All right. I'm going to go ahead and change the view so you can see the board and see what I'm seeing, and we'll dive right in. All right, we're going to start with our guide stone here in the middle. This is moss agate. The eye here simply represents the ethereal realm where spirit dwells, our guides, ancestors, angels, our team, if you will. And so moss agate is an energy that's a focal point for us this week. It is a stone that is associated with prosperity and abundance. It also brings a bit of optimism and enthusiasm into our world, into what we're doing. It can be very nurturing. It can be a great stone for new growth, new life. It's an earth stone, so it is grounding. And it can help us to release old fears and energies, ways of being that might not be helping us out anymore. So there's definitely some releasing, there's some new coming in, and this is really going to help us. There's some rough energy happening right now. So this is going to help us with that optimism that I mentioned a minute ago, trying to maintain a healthy and positive outlook, not going into the Pollyanna toxic positivity of dismissal or spiritual bypassing, but understanding that we're in a process of shedding and bringing forth new things, and it takes a little time, and just trusting that. So being optimistic about the end game, if you will. So that's the moss agate, and we'll tie back into that with some of the other aspects here. So the first stone that I really want to look at here is the black obsidian. So we have that here in the material world, which has to do with money, resources, everything you can see and touch, but also our relationship to it and how we interact with that. Attitudes, beliefs, etc. And then it's also up here in our personal growth and personal attributes section. So first and foremost, black obsidian is pretty commonly known that it's grounding, it's protective, it absorbs negative energy and kind of creates a force field, blocks other, new negative energy from coming in, especially other people's stuff. But it also has the ability to give us some perseverance and patience, like I was just talking about, to understand that not everything is going to show up immediately. We're entering into eclipse season right now, which does have a lot to do with endings and beginnings. And we are living in a culture where we want instant gratification. Everything's available at our fingertips. You push a button, you buy something, it shows up the same day. You Google something, you get an immediate answer. And this energetic that we're living in right now, it's not like that. We're not going to have instant gratification. So the main element of this black obsidian that I want us to really focus on here is the perseverance and the patience and the understanding there's something greater going on, and it's worth it to sit in it, sit with it, and be patient, okay? So where this is showing up for you is in the material world. We landed on Hanuman. And Hanuman is a deity from the Hindu pantheon, and he represents service and devotion, being in service to mankind. So since this is in this section of resources, this would ask us the question, how are we utilizing our own resources to not only better our own world, but to better humanity, to better the rest of the world, right? Being in service, giving back, understanding that life is reciprocal, it's give and take, it's not just take, right? So during this time of kind of contemplating what's new, what wants to come in, Spirit is asking, how can you be in service? How can you use those resources to be in service? Especially while you're waiting for things to pan out, right? Don't just sit there twiddling your thumbs, waiting for things to show up. Actually put yourself into action, okay? The other place where it landed is the peacock, and this is in your personal growth, personal attributes area and evolution. And the peacock represents your own sense of self, okay? Your identity, right? How do you identify? And because we're talking about this energy being grounded, being protective, what parts of you are you being protective of that really you don't need to be? Either they need to be cut loose so they can fully shine and not be guarded, or you're holding on to them unnecessarily. Maybe it's time to shed certain identities, right? And not protect this egoic idea you have around them. Well, this is just who I am, right? Well, maybe it's not. Maybe there's room for improvement. Maybe you can choose to step into something greater and really flaunt, fan your tail feathers and shine your light in a better way, in a more authentic way, in a way that feels in alignment for you today. And this is also kind of about what you want the world to see, putting your best foot forward, showing up in a way that you are exhibiting confidence and self-esteem and a greater sense of self. And I mean self with a capital S, not ego, but your true light, who you are, okay? So how can you take this true essence of who you are that the peacock is asking you to contemplate and step into and use that to be in service, to be in devotion to the greater, to the collective, using your resources? And by the way, time and energy are resources. This doesn't have to be financial. This doesn't have to be monetary or material, tangible, where you're handing something to someone. You can simply show up and be there, volunteer, be there for a friend, be there for a community, do somebody a favor that's really going to help them out, So this is a time to think about not just yourself and what's showing up for you, but what is showing up in the collective and how you can be a beneficial presence in that way as well. Okay. Let's move on now to the prehnite. That's that light green stone here. One of them is in your purpose and livelihood, kind of your expression in the world. So this can have to do with career, but more likely this is purpose driven for you with the placement. And then this is your health and well-being here. This has to do with your body, of course, but also your general well-being, mental health, emotional, spiritual, okay? It's all of it. It's the whole package. So prehnite, we want to look at the stone first, and this stone has shown up a lot lately, and it's not surprising considering that the energies that we're heading into for the week. First of all, it is a heart stone, so it's very heart opening. It helps us to kind of keep our heart open. It gives us a heightened state of awareness, right? So we can look at things from a higher level, okay, higher consciousness. Not just the details of what's going on in your life, especially around your purpose and your body and your mental state, but what's the bigger picture? What really wants to happen here? What growth is happening? What opportunities are there for learning, for evolving, and even for calling in that which you really want to see in your life, okay? We do have a new moon this week, and it's in Cancer, and Cancer loves the moon. So this is a good new moon to think about what seeds of intention are you planting for manifestation, from that higher awareness, not that lower energy, ooh, I want this, I want that, give me this, give me that. This is more like the bigger picture. What am I trying to manifest on an energetic level, from a pure place of purpose, okay? So there's that. And then the thing that I really want to talk about here is just like the moss agate, it can calm our anxieties and just bring a sense of, well-being there. But it's also a stone of what we call decluttering, okay? And this is, again, shedding, decluttering. What do we need to get rid of? What do we need to move out in order to make room for what wants to come in? So where we're looking at this is in our place in the world, and this can be your job. It can be the work you do in the world. It can be your place in your family. It can be your purpose and your sense of, contributing to humanity. So when we look at the spinning wheel, we want to talk about what you're spinning in your life, okay? Spinning wheel takes the raw wool and it turns it into yarn. And now we can use our resources and our raw materials in a way that's useful and beautiful, and brings a sense of fulfillment, okay? Raw wool by itself doesn't do a whole lot. So what are your raw materials? What are you working with? Look at your talents, your skills, your passions, your connections, your money, your time, your energy. Maybe it's your education. What are all the things you're working with, and how can you spin those so that you can bring forth that which you want to call in? However, what are you willing to release? What are you willing to sacrifice to make room for this, endeavor, this project, this new way of being, this journey of purpose, right? It's time to let go. It's time to let things die, if you will. That's the word that's coming to me. Death is a part of rebirth, and we need to make room. So that's present. And then over here, we have, again, health and well-being. So when we're looking at the health and well-being section, this is not really touching. It's not really close enough to any particular symbol to assign it. So we're going to look at this as a theme. So what we want to do here is ask ourselves, what habits, patterns, substances, distractions, things that we're doing in our lives that are keeping us from living in that higher awareness, what can we release here? What can we declutter? What can we get rid of? And now this is not like I'm just going to stop doing all those things all at once. Of course, it's a process. You can't force it, right? But you can plant those seeds and you can start making different choices. I want you to think about restricting your distractions, and I want you to think about what's in the way of you fully embodying your wellness, mental and physical, okay? So this is kind of big. We often, when we're going through these big energetic shifts, such as eclipses and things like that, we often forget about the body. We're just focusing on how do we feel emotionally, energetically. Well, that all lives in your body. So if you're neglecting your body, if you're not listening to it, if you're not hearing its messages and you're not heeding its warnings, there might be issues there for you, and it might be a lot harder. So this is just fair warning to really pay some attention to that this week. The last stone on the board is labradorite. Labradorite is a stone of high intuition. It really helps us tune in, get the messages and the guidance that we need, which is great considering where these are located, and I'll get to that in a minute. But it also helps with our psychic development overall. It brings wisdom and mental illumination. So it is also a stone of the mind, where it helps us to use the power of the mind in a way that is pure, the intellect, the creative ideas, the tuning into the one mind, if you will, to download what we need mentally and intellectually. It also helps to protect us against, negativity and misfortune, in the same way that obsidian is protective. And it brings some clarity and some insight into the direction that we need to go for success. So I want you to think about success. What does that mean to you? That word means different things to different people, okay? But we want to head towards what feels like success. And this eclipse season is an opportunity, like I said, to release those things that don't feel that way for us and make some new choices. And yes, some choices are coming up. So this one is on the line, and it is crossing over into the personal growth section, which simply means that this is not just about logical decisions along our life path, which, is pretty cut and dry. It's like a map. It's like a timeline. There's beginnings, there's endings, there's decisions. There's things in the way. There's things we got to do. There's definitely the to-do list. Things are born, things die. It's pretty logical. But as this is crossing over into your personal growth, the way that this is interpreted is that these decisions that you're going to be making here soon or will present themselves need to not just be logical, but need to contribute to that personal growth and evolution. So the decisions should be based not only on intuition, because we have this stone of high intuition, trusting the inner guidance system, but also based on what's going to help me grow here. How can I stretch myself a little bit and get out of my comfort zone so that I can progress as a human and a spiritual being? Okay, so we are on the arrow. The caterpillar is beginnings and the death head moth is endings. So the arrow is kind of like a pause in the middle, okay? It's asking us to think about where we are on our journey and if we're headed in the right direction. There could be some pivots happening. There could be some changes coming this week, and they might be a little uncomfortable. So you might make some realizations like, you know what, like we talked about purpose over here. I am not happy in my current situation and the work that I'm doing in the world and how I'm using my skills and my job and all those things, right? This is asking you to really trust your intuition on those feelings that you might have over here, and to be very mindful about where you're pointing your arrow before you let it fly. You want to make sure it's heading in the right direction, okay? So take a minute to go into contemplation. The spinning wheel and the arrow are both symbols that ask us to stop and reevaluate. The answer might be yes, I am on the right track. Great, keep going. Then you can shoot your arrow with confidence, knowing that it's going in the right direction. You're experiencing personal growth. You're feeling fulfilled. You're experiencing success in a way that feels good to you, right? That fits your definition. Fine. If not, it's time to pivot. And that doesn't mean that you have to make a giant change this week. I'm not telling you to quit your job or end the relationship or anything like that. But you can make the decision that you're going in a different direction and that you will do so in a rational way that is sustainable and feels good to you. That's where the crossroads comes in. Your other labradorite is on the crossroads. That's a decision. You cannot go both ways when you get to the crossroads. Either that or you're just going to be stuck. You're going to sit in the middle of the intersection and go nowhere, right? And you're going to make people mad because you're blocking traffic. So this is saying, yes, you need to make a decision about the direction you're going. Don't just contemplate it, but actually choose. Mindfully, intuitively choose to go towards your success, okay? If this ain't it, point that arrow in a different direction. Again, it doesn't mean go quit your job. It means you're making the decision right here and now that changes are coming. And you start taking steps towards that. For some of you, it might be an immediate big decision. I am quitting my job because I've been contemplating this for a year and I'm in a position where I can do that without getting myself in trouble, right? Fine, if that's the case and it is a big decision, go for it. If you cannot do that, the way some people can, then this is the decision to begin the process of the new beginning, letting go of the old, bringing in the new. Remember, patience and perseverance are key here. It's not going to be all roses immediately. And again, our stone at the beginning here, try to tune into that optimism, knowing that even though things are a little bit shifty, tricky, uncertain, maybe uncomfortable right now, that at the end of this process, the success is coming, the fulfillment is coming, and it's going to feel good, right? So if it doesn't feel good now, activate that optimism knowing that that's coming soon. Okay, that is your reading for this week, August the 9th. I hope these messages are helpful and insightful for you as we embark on these eclipses that are coming up this week. It's going to be some intense energy. You really need to ask yourself what's really important. Get some priorities here. And again, trust that intuition, trust the process, stay grounded, and let go of what's not, going to keep you on that track that you want to be on, personally, professionally, purpose-wise, in all the ways. Okay. So once again, super appreciative that you have been here with me listening to this reading. Every Wednesday, I do a quick 2 to 3 minute pop-in just to kind of keep us on track. And so for this Wednesday, that will be the new moon, which is great. And so tune in for that. And please go to my link and follow all of my socials. Leave comments if you have specific requests for a themed reading on a certain topic. I would love to hear that because I've been starting to do those. In fact, I'll be posting another one of those either this week or next week. I'm just going to trust my intuition on when that one needs to go up. I've already recorded it, but it's specific around relationship shifts. So let me know if you have a topic that you want to explore with me. And book a private reading. I would love to do a reading for you. I can do them by phone, Zoom, and on some occasions in person if you're in the Denver area. That's a little trickier, but you can reach out to me and we can figure something out. So thanks again. You guys buckle up and be good to yourself this week. Really patience, and perseverance. Calm down. It's gonna be okay. All right. That's it for this week. Bye for now.